Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today I have another deck profile for you that is going to be post Photon Hypernova. With Yu-Gi-Oh being a little bit boring right now with how the current format is and no products released until the end of January, I wanted to be able to keep spamming you guys with deck profiles, something to look forward to for that deck set to come out. So this is going to be a Springans deck profile, and these cards are really strong. They got two new cards in Photon Hypernova, and they are both insane. But first, before we get into it, just please friendly reminder to subscribe. Really trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers soon, and yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one and show you guys these new cards. So let's jump right into it. Okay, guys, so this is the deck profile for the Springans deck. This is very powerful. I cannot believe it. It's amazing what one card can do. This almost feels like Spiral getting something like Double Helix. It is pretty much on the similar standpoint. Usually I go over the whole deck list first, but for this one I want to go over the new cards just because I want to show how powerful they are and the reason why this works the way it does. So the main monster that I wanted to go over was actually in the extra deck, and that's why it's so important, because this card is always accessible in Springans. So this reads as, gigantic champion Sargus. It's not a Springans monster, which is very important. Once per turn, you can special summon this over a Springans Exceed monster you control, and its materials become its materials. Very important for two reasons. Not being a Springan means if this is on the field, you do not have a Springans Exceed, so you can use the field spell again to summon another different Springan Exceed monster if you wanted to. Secondly, this gains its materials for free, and having those extra materials do come in handy. If this card has a material, you can add one Springans or Therion card from your deck to your hand. Now, this is where the deck gets very interesting, because there are many cards in the Springans deck that actually kind of merge together with other archetypes, such as Therion and Sprite, and I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. But yeah, so it's very interesting that you get a free search now. And you can kind of see where this is going just by this effect, because now that if you know how Springans work, that the field spell summons a free Exceed monster, now you can just slap the Exceed on it, and then it's going to immediately get a free search for a Springan and field spell. That is very powerful in itself. And then lastly, it does have one more effect. Of course, 3 effects, good cards always do, I feel like. If a material is detached on a monster on the field, that's very important because it is also on your opponent's field. So if your opponent goes for something like the Mind Hacker or Abyss Dweller or anything like that, you can trigger this effect. You can target one card in the field, either destroy it or return it to the hand. That is super, super good because you can play around stuff that has effects when they're sent to the graveyard as well. So you can bounce stuff to your hand, and you can also bounce back your own cards to your hand. So this card is extremely powerful, extremely helps the decks consistently because it makes the field spell actually do something. And yeah, it's just overall just a powerhouse of a card. And then the second card that this deck got in its new arsenal for Photon Hypernova is Tally-Ho Springans. That is the most cringe name I've ever heard, but man, this is a freaking broken card, I guarantee you it. So it reads as follows: when you activate it, you can also detach up to 3 materials from a monster you control. So again, when you do something like the Gold Sea and summon out Merrymaker, Merrymaker can send a guy, and then you can use the guy in graveyard to put under Merrymaker, go into this guy, so you can detach 2 off of this immediately. Just to keep in mind, this is something important to know. Add 1 Springans monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you detach materials at activation, so you don't have to detach the add, very important, you can just add and not detach anything. So at worst, this card's just a quick play Rhoda. Very strong, very good quick play searcher. Then, if you detach materials at activation, you can special summon that many Springans monsters from your hand and or graveyard. So what I'm saying, reading this as pretty much, is, like I said, you can do the field spell, summon this, dump 1, attach the one you dumped to Merrymaker, equip the Sargus. Sargus, search the quick play spell, use the quick play spell, detach 2 to bring back the one that you dumped off the Merrymaker and the one you search to special summon 2 bodies. That is absolutely insane. That is a lot of cards for pretty much 0 commitment. And then if it is in the graveyard, you can target an Exceed monster on the field. That is on the field, not just your Exceed monster. So if your opponent has a Shangri-La on the field, you can actually detach a material from it. And then add this card from the graveyard to the hand. You can only use one effect of Springans Tally-Ho per turn and only once per turn. So you cannot use both of these effects in a turn. That is super important to know. I wish it was each effect in one turn. That'd be so good, but unfortunately it's only one effect per turn. So something to keep in mind. So the graveyard effect's not going to come up as much because you want to be searching, but if you have a turn where you don't have this, being able to get it back is always nice. Now that those are the new cards. Now for the actual deck profile itself, we are going to actually just go through the card by card as normal. So you have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Effect Veil, or 3 copies of Rinperm. Going into new format, Kashtira, Tearment format. We want the most generic hand traps. Got to figure out what the new tech cards are going to be. Just, the standard stuff. We play 1 copy of Cyberstein. This is for the combo. I might show the combo in this video. Yeah, I'm going to show the combo in this video. So yeah, we're going to show the combo in this video with Cyberstein. Very, very good, and a very, very strong end board. I'm going to explain to you why after that. We play 1 Springans Branga. This is actually one of the weaker ones. It has a good effect, but it doesn't help with your end board at all. And again, I'm going to show you why. This is kind of just more of a utility card that if you draw it, it's not too bad. 2 Springans Brothers. This is the one you don't want to draw. You want to dump this from deck to graveyard with this Exceed monster, Merrymaker. So you don't want to draw this really. And then 3 copies of Captain Sargus. This is going to be surprising for a lot of people because in every other Springans profile that I looked at while doing research for this, this card is at like 0. Nobody is playing this card, but it's very important to have Springans names because you need Great Sand Sea to have a Springans to discard. So discarding this isn't bad because then you can use Merrymaker to send the brothers to then immediately summon Sargus. Sargus is a part of your end board, and it's very important because it's actually very good against Kashtira. That is why this card is good. So you got to keep in mind you have to adjust your decks and build them differently and adjust your end boards depending on the format. So with Kashtira coming into the format, I think Sargus is a very good end card to have. But this is something that all could change because this is searchable through many ways as well. Again, starter deck profiles, this is just suggestions that I have for now. And then 3 copies of Rocky. Rocky is just general recursion. When it's normal or special, you can bounce back 1 from your graveyard to your hand. Very good. And then keep in mind, all the Springans monsters also have the effect if they are on the field, hand. If they are in the grave or hand or field, I believe. They can equip to a Springans Exceed monster you control. So you can give your Springans themselves as Exceed monsters, which obviously combos very well with Tally Ho. Next up, we have the 2 copies of Talons. These are very generic. I'm not going to be main decking Tasking in this one because I don't think it benefits this deck as well as others. But I do think Talons is a good beneficiary in this deck specifically. So I think this one works the most. 3 copies of the Golden Great Sand Sea, the Golden Gondola, whatever you want to call it. Great field spell now. This card is excellent. Just how good it is currently. Going into the the Photon Hypernova, this is such a good card in this deck. Springans Watch, this is an amazing searcher. Adds the field spell because this deck needs the field spell to function. So any way to get to it, obviously the better. So 3 of this, and then if you have the field spell, you'll be able to search a Springans monster. Also very good, so it doubles as whatever you need. Springans Booty, this is literally just a card to get to the field spell. The other effect doesn't come up a lot, but hey, it can. Because if a Exceed monster you control is the field by a card effect, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls. Neither player can activate that monster's effect this turn. On the end board, if you have this face up, you can use that first effect. Because you are going to be sending away a IP. With IP, you're going to be sending away a Gear Giant X, and it doesn't specify a Springans Exceed monster. So this actually does come up to be able to turn off something, ironically enough. So this is not an irrelevant effect, it's something to keep in mind. And then 3 Tally Ho, of course, this card's insane. I really hope they change this name because I hate this name so much. 3 Pot of Prosperity. This deck does not draw a lot other than talents, so you can have it in here. 1 Terraforming to get the field spell, of course. Also, we have a million ways to get to the field spell. It's the most important thing. We want to be able to. We have 3, 6, 9, 10, and then I'm going to count the 3 Prosperities for 6 too because that's pretty much going to guaranteed get to it. So you need to see this to play. It's very important. And then we play a little Therion package because, like I said, this new Exceed monster can search Therion cards. So we play 1 Disc Coliseum and 2 Regulus. This is also can be a part of the end board if you have extra pieces of the combo in your hand at the start. You can end on a Regulus as well, which is super good. For the side deck, I have other cards that can go in here. We have a Sprite package that you can play, which is these 5. We have the Smashers, the Blue-Red, Jet, and Starter. It adds a nice little combo at the end for the end board, but it makes it less consistent. You can just draw dead cards, so I'm not playing it in this build. I think the end board's fine. Cool interaction, though, with Smashers. Smashers, as you all know, is a Sprite card mostly, but this actually applies to, all 3 decks. It's actually crazy. So it can actually banish a Springans, Therion, or Sprite to activate one of the following effects. So again, all 3 archetypes can be in here to activate one of the effects. But notably, it can special a Springan from your deck. It's just emergency teleport. Kind of crazy. You can also special a Therion from your graveyard, so you can bring back Regulus if you have it. And then, yeah, obviously, you know the other last one, which is just a interruption for your opponent. So, yeah, like, this card is actually really good in this deck, funny enough. But I am not playing it currently, but you can if you want to. You also have, like, the Fusion package, where they're, like, cards that need, like, Fallen of Albaz and, you know, like, the Fusion. It's really weird stuff. I'm not playing it right now. You can, again, but you kind of, like, it almost requires you to play Fallen because of how the cards work. This card's kind of neat. It's also counts as Great Sea, which can kind of come up, but it's not great. And then it's just weird. I don't know, man. During the end phase, like being able to summon an Albaz, these Springans monsters don't do enough with fusions to make this warranted. And again, same with this thing. You can special back Fallen and Springans. It's just a bunch of cards that are mediocre in my opinion, but again, I just want to make them notable for you that you have the option. Again, I'm not playing Triple Tactics Tasking. Bystials are still going to be good, so probably side deck stuff later. This is more of like side deck realm now with the Bystials, Swords of Concealing, and these two, the Lava Golem and the Sphere mode. This deck doesn't really use its normal summon. Its normal summon is the Cyberstein usually, so you can definitely afford playing these going second because you're not going to be summoning this going second at all. And then, yeah, these are just good generic side deck cards. Going on for the extra deck. One copy of Exterio, because this is what we're summoning off Stein. This is very good against Kashtira. It is also decently against, you know, everything else. This card turns off 2/3 of Yu-Gi-Oh, so that is very strong. 3 copies of Zeus. The reason we're playing 3 copies is because if you get unicorned or you get hit by the, the Mind Hacker, and Unicorn, you want multiple Zeuses, you want multiples of your important extra deck cards so you can clear their board. So funny enough, the way this deck operates is you can actually clear a Kashtira board kind of easily as long as you have the right setup for it. And the way I'm saying this is that you can actually, they can't block those necessary zones to do it. So you can go Golden Sea, pitch, summon a guy, and then slap the champion over it, attack with the champion into something, anything. Usually they have Shangri-La in defense mode. In main phase 2, summon Zeus and then clear the board. They usually do not have an out for that. Sometimes it depends on their board. It also depends on what you have. So just a very nice, easy way to out really any board, but could come up very well and easy. 1 copy of Dweller for Tier Moment because the combo can make a rank 4, and if you already have Stein, you could just make Dweller instead. It's the same result. Gear Giant X, this is searching for Cyberstein. It can also search your Springan level 4 or lowers, so it can search Rocky and Brothers, but yeah, mostly it's for Cyberstein. 3 copies of the new guy because he is absolutely disgusting, being able to search literally anything. 2 copies of Merrymaker. I really do want to play this, a third one of this, because he comes up, like, he's like your go-to, being able to dump, so like, you know, summon this, dump Brothers, bring back a guy, really, really good. And the second effect can come up if you like if you actually like hard make it and then banish it with its own effect. That's where like the fusion comes up. But again, I'm not going for that line. If you want to go for that line, feel free to try it out, but it's not for me. And then 1 copy of the ship. The ship is really good going second. That's how I see it. Like you can literally go like pitch the gold, like summon Golden Sea at pitch, bring out the ship instead rather than Merrymaker. Use the guy in the graveyard, equip it to the ship, and then like detach the pop something, and then you can go into the Sargus. So it's like, it's not bad, but it's just, you know, it's just, I want the option to be able to pop for going second because you're not always going to go first. So also Golden Sea plus this being 26 is kind of relevant because you can beat over most of the Kashtiras. And then lastly for links, these are all part of like the combo and board type of thing. IP, Unicorn, and Appaloosa. Yeah, very good, just generic end board stuff. We got to see where the format goes. I don't think you need any like Charmer in this specifically. I think this is just fine. And yeah, so that's it for the deck profile. I'm going to show you guys the combo real quick. I think it's just a good combo to know and understanding of why I like this deck so much. Okay guys, so here is the hand. I'm going to keep this very brief because I'm just going to do one combo but explain some variables. The combo is actually just these two, but if you add like this or Therion, if you draw like Tally-Ho or either of the Therion cards, it just makes it so that you end on Regulus as well, and possibly a attack defense because of the field spell, depending on if you open up Regulus or the field spell. If you open up Tally-Ho, you get with the field spell as well. So this is just something I wanted to reference. But really, this is a 2-card combo, and then this is like plus 1-card extension. But the 2-card combo is also just really, really good. So yeah, we're gonna go activate the Golden City or the Golden Sea, whatever it's called. Use the effect, pitch the Rocky to be able to, well, not go on deck, to be able to summon out the Merrymaker. Use the Merrymaker effect on summon to send a Springan. We are going to send Brothers. Now we can use Brother's Effect because it was sent from deck to grave to special back the Rocky. We are not going to use the Rocky because that would completely defeat the purpose. There's no reason to. If Rocky's good later in the game, but for this turn 1 combo, it doesn't come up at all. We can use Brother's Effect in the graveyard to attach it to our... oh my god, can I hit the right card? To attach it to our Exceed monster. Now that we have a material under here, we can summon out our gigantic guy, and we're going to summon him up here because he is not a part of our end board. Very important to know. He will get linked off later, and we actually need the space. Now that he is summoned, he has materials, we can use the effect to search. So what we're going to search here is actually the Therion field spell. It's why we only play 1 because it's searchable, and it's very nice that it protects from battle. Very important. Now that we have Tally Ho, we can activate it and detach 2. Something to keep in mind, again, if you do not have Tally Ho, but you have the Therion, you can just switch them out, or even if you don't have the Therion at all, you can just get the Tally Ho and the board is still really, really good. It's like, I'll show you what it is, just minus the Therion. It's really, really strong. So, yeah, so activate the Tally Ho to be able to search, and we're going to detach 2. So that means we get the special 2 as well. So we're going to add the Captain. And now that we detach 2, we can special 2 from our hand or grave. So we can special out our brothers, and we can special out Sargus. Sargus is a part of our end board. Now we can overlay our 2. We are not restricted into anything, believe it or not. Now we can activate Gear Giant to be able to detach. We're going to detach him to be able to search for our Cyberstein. Also earlier, this is actually perfect. We actually just used Gear Giant, so now we can activate our champion on the field to bounce back our Golden City. We actually could have done this earlier. I completely messed up. We could have done this earlier when we used the Tally Ho and detached off of him to bounce back the Golden City, and then we can actually go into Regulus earlier. That was my own fault. Just something to keep in mind so you can protect your Gear Giant, because you're going to use the Exceed in the graveyard as the Earth for him. So we're going to do this, equip him with that. See, he's a machine, and then so you have this negate before the Gear Giant. Ideally, I just messed up, but I'm just telling you guys that now. Now, believe it or not, Gear Giant and this are actually part of the end board. Now we can normal summon because we haven't done that yet, and then activate Cyberstein to pay 5,000 life points to summon out our Neteria Exterio. Exterio is a hell of a card. Now we can link away our Cyberstein and our Sargus to end the board with a IP Masquerena. So this is the end board. This may look a little weird, but I promise you this board is absolutely cracked. And if you really wanted to, again, if you did not have the extra card in your hand, being the Therion or the Quick Play spell, you just take away the Regulus, and then you still have this. It's still this half of the board, just minus the Regulus. You can also link away all 4 to go into a 4-material Appaloosa with the Exterio, so you have 4 monster negates and then infinite spell and trap negates, also really good. But I like this board a little bit better because it does help beat out the Kashtiras, because of Fenrir being a pain in the ass. Appaloosa gets kind of beat the crap out of by that card, and this board plays around it much better. So, what is this board? So we have 1 monster negate from the Therion Regulus, being able to protect him, send himself away. We have infinite spell and trap negates because of the Neteria Exterio being absolutely overpowered. Captain Sargus actually has a quick effect that is very, very good. During your opponent's turn, you can detach 1 material from an Exceed you control, target a card in the field, and destroy it. Very good. It is extremely good against Kashtira. This is the reason I'm doing this board, because against Kashtira, this is so much better. Being able to pop the Unicorn and Fenrir on summon makes their lives a living hell, because they can't use the field spell to be able to search for extra ones, and they also aren't be able to use Rise Heart if you're popping them. They literally have to have, with this board in particular, they actually have to have 3 Unicorns or Fenrirs in their hand, which if they do, that's honestly, they got it. Like, whatever. But even then, you still have Regulus and Exterio. Like, you're probably fine anyway. It's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, and then you have the IP Masquerena that can go into Unicorn or Appaloosa, depending on the matchup. Also, you have protection from the Disc Coliseum from battle. So if they try to attack over the IP, you can protect it with Disc Coliseum, or if they go into Appo, you can protect it with the Disc Coliseum as well. And you have follow-up with the Golden Sea in the hand. You literally just need to draw any Springans card, which is not that hard. So, yeah, that's the deck. I just wanted to show you guys, and a quick combo. I feel like this was worth showing. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.